Mental Health Monday on Radio City Talk with Mick Coyle.
Radio City Talk.
So my name's Mick Coyle, Mental Health Extra follows on from Mental Health Monday. We do it on Tuesday on Radio City Talk. Jake Mills from Chasing the Stigma is with us in the studio. Jake, how are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
Yeah, how have you been?
I've been all right. I've been okay. I've had a very busy couple of weeks, but at the light at the end of the tunnel was a nice trip to Dublin to see Liam Gallagher. So, yeah, that kept me going. And 5 hours before the taxi picked us up, I was violently ill.
Oh.
Stingo.
Didn't go. Oh, see, that's the worst, isn't it? When you're actually going to go abroad and get on a plane and then you have that moment of realisation, I'm not getting on that plane, am I?
Yeah, there was there's a realisation without getting. I won't go into details where I said, I'll just use a bag. I'll be all right. I'll just take a bag in the taxi on the plane. Be fine. And then quickly that realisation changed. When you're like, nah, there ain't no bag big enough, boy. this is it. So yeah, but I'm all right now, fighting fit, ready to get going. But that's what it's all about. It's all about work anyway.
But 10 or 15 quid down because
Yeah. I mean, thankfully, Dublin is a very cheap city. Inexpensive.
It's only Christmas a matter of weeks away.
Well,
so I think we can all afford to write off any number of hundreds of pounds.
Well, and unfortunately as well, it's my son's 4th birthday a week before Christmas Day as well. So, and my dad's birthday and my father-in-law's birthday as well. So it's not an expensive month.
I've got a run of birthdays which go my brother yesterday, my brother's wife.
Just to make sure that you remember that, because it almost felt that you've just remembered.
No.
By doing this exercise, you've just gone, yesterday.
People who listen very closely to the show will know I wished him a happy birthday because I read the date and went, oh, that's my brother's birthday. His partner, my sister-in-law, next weekend. My wife, Wednesday. My nephew, Thursday. My brother, the 16th of December. Yeah. So I have this run of very, very close family birthdays.
Yeah, mine's in there as well.
And then it's Christmas. So basically what I do is I get up to about the 16th of December and then Christmas starts.
Yeah.
You know when people go, oh, it's the 25th of November, so we may as well put the Christmas tree up. Yeah. I always go, no.
Put it off.
I've got birthdays first.
yeah.
I've got all this to deal with.
And then every year you go, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to save from January. I'm going to save from January and I'm going to just keep it up. So then when it comes to October, I'll buy everybody's birthday and Christmas presents and it'll be fine. And then you get to the 16th of December and think, yeah, I need to do that next time. But I don't repeat.
But I don't mind it. I don't mind that day if you go into town and just do all your shopping. I think that's a pretty yeah, that's them. I go back for that. That's them sorted. Yeah, you look in the bag, you go, sounds Christmas sorted.
Yeah, I agree, but it's usually quite mediocre presents, though, isn't it?
Well, good luck to everyone involved in the Mills family. Jake is with us from Mental Health Extra. There's a story which a friend of mine, occasionally people who know me now go, have you seen this mental health story? And often I'm aware of it, or anyway, someone new. There's two stories here, so I'm just going to do one. A campaign to support people with mental health issues on nights out has gone viral. This is a student nurse in Southend, Leah Mercer, launched the campaign and already has the support of 3 venues in the town, with 90,000 people now following it on social media. The 23-year-old who lives in Southend and studies at Essex University launched the scheme Are You OK?, having worked on her own mental health issues in the past. She's approached a number of bars and clubs in her hometown, asking them to display notices and have staff on hand to offer support. I want to break the stigma about talking about living with mental health issues. I think having someone at bars and clubs who can direct people to the right places and services can really help so much. I would have felt so much safer if I had known there was someone to talk to in bars and clubs when I was out with friends. This sounds good, doesn't it?
Excellent.
Now, the clubs who've signed up so far, I don't know these clubs, but they've got great names. Vodka Revolution.
Mm-hmm.
The Moo Moo Club Rooms.
Mm-hmm.
And Coco.
Yeah.
I mean, standard bar names, but they're all signed up, so we're not going to criticise them at all. And they're hoping to get sort of signs in things like the toilets and things like that. So if you want to speak to somebody, you go and speak to a member of staff, presumably who have been mental health trained, but also links to things like the Samaritans, NHS 111. They haven't got the Hub of Hope on there, but I think if we contact them, they might even be able to put it on. But a friend of mine flagged this up. The NEC Group, which has a number of different venues, including the Birmingham Arena, has introduced mental health first aiders to many of its shows, including the likes of Ariana Grande and Little Mix. And the music charity Music Support recently partnered with 10 UK companies and organisations to train music industry professionals in mental health first aid. And basically there'll be 20 trained first aiders within the venue. So that if you are there and you're thinking, I need to speak to somebody, then actually you can go to what is the equivalent of the M&S Bank Arena or the Manchester Arena, and the staff there will be trained up and flagged up as well.
Yeah, both really good. I think it's kind of challenging this idea of what it means to, or what people think you mean when you say mental health, and that doesn't mean that it's going to be people who are just feeling low and turning up to a gig in order to talk to somebody. It's looking at anxiety and panic attacks of being around a lot of people in crowded spaces, and certainly with thoughts around what happened in Manchester and stuff. There's also the idea of when you're out and drinking and when there's drink and drugs and how that can affect your mental health and kind of lead to other mental health crisis. And again, it's just about going to where people are and changing environments around people and just making it easier for them to be able to find something. It's really not rocket science. It's not saying it's got to be a mental health centre.
Well, also that thing that people go, oh, well, what, that? If you need help, why are you going to a gig or a concert? But, I mean, how many times do you see St. John Ambulance?
Yeah, exactly.
So they're there.
Yeah.
They're there if you need them.
And also you might not know that you need help.
I've never been injured at a gig.
Yeah.
Why are St. John Ambulance here? I've never needed that.
Yeah.
Why are they here?
You might not even know that you are struggling with your mental health. You might not know that. You might go to a gig and that might be the trigger. That might be the first time that you've ever struggled with your mental health. And it's having somebody on hand to know what to do with that. I think it was Lewis Capaldi put out when he put tour dates out last year. I think it might have been earlier this year, and he had a kind of like a anxiety safe space as part of his gigs as well, like a quiet place and stuff like that. It's just, why can't we do that? Why can't we go where people are and make it safer space for people? It's not taking anything away from people. It's making it better for people.
There was I forgot her name. She's a Danish stand-up, and she played the Unity Theatre, and she had like the end of all the aisles she didn't sell, and you could basically request them.
Yeah.
If you wanted to sit on the end of an aisle, because if you ever go into, I don't even like this. You know, when you go to like the cinema and you've got to go past some people and some more people, and you plonk yourself down, and there are more people on the other side.
Yeah. I
have this thing where I think if I need to get out for whatever reason, and I don't know what the reason is, I'd much rather be nearer the end. Yeah,
absolutely. And I've done that quite a lot of times. I know exactly what the reason is. What if I need to be sick? That's what I think, even if I don't feel sick. It's the idea of being trapped in there and thinking I can't escape, and being like shamed in front of people, of being like, if I needed to be sick now, I'd have to climb over people, or I'd have to be sick on somebody, and that's enough to cause that anxiety. And like that, it will to the extent where it make me physically sick.
Can I ask you about anxiety, right?
Yeah.
Because we had a thing that I went to, and somebody said, "Oh, you must have been dead nervous," and I wasn't nervous at all.
Yeah.
To the point where actually I don't feel I don't get nervous.
So it's just like work.
It was a work-related thing, and sometimes it's speaking in public and stuff. Oh, do you get nervous speaking? And the answer is no. I'm absolutely. But do I get anxious? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a difference, and I can't quite work out what the difference is. There's the knot in the stomach. There's the, I almost feel physically exhausted at the end of it because I've been thinking about it so much. But I'm not nervous because I know it's something that I can do, and I feel like I'm capable of. I don't think, what if my voice doesn't, because I know my voice will work. What if you don't know what to say? I'm pretty confident I'll know what to say. But there's an anxiety, which is like,
it's a dread, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'm not fearful of anything.
Yeah.
But I'm anxious. But I get it when I'm looking forward to something as well. If it's something, if I'm going to a gig, or if I know I'm going out for a meal that night, and we've not been out for a meal for like 3 months, there's something in my stomach which is kind of going, you're about to do something which isn't quite the norm. I'm not nervous about going to an Italian restaurant with my wife, but I have an anxiety a few hours before, and I think, why am I feeling like that? And I think, it's because I'm doing something that's slightly different tonight.
Yeah. And also, I think an important point to make here actually is that that is absolutely fine, and that doesn't necessarily mean that you suffer from anxiety. And I think that's kind of where we're at now, where when we're talking about mental health awareness, when talking about all these things, it's important to be pointing out to people, say, you may have anxiety at points in your life, you may be anxious, you may be nervous, but that doesn't mean that you have anxiety or that you suffer from diagnosable anxiety. But yeah, absolutely, because it's the same with me. If I'm speaking somewhere, I might be a little bit nervous or it's just something there, but I'll just go and do it. That's what I do. But that is the norm. So it's the norm for you to do it.
But I have it as well. Like if I'm going on holiday, I'll have an anxiety about going on. I'm really looking forward to the holiday.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I love it. I even love going through airports.
See, I don't. I hate airports.
I love all that.
I hate airports.
Going
Not
on
for
planes.
safety. I just hate the airports.
I even enjoy eating plane food, aeroplane food. I think it's all great. But the night before I go on holiday, part of me always thinks, you know what? If it all got cancelled and I just stayed at home for a week, I'd be absolutely fine with it.
Yeah.
Because part of me is thinking, just to not have to go through all that, will just be easier.
Yeah, because you want to remain in the safety of what you feel like you can control. So it's when you're going somewhere, you're breaking outside of that comfort zone almost. It's something out of your control because it's not the norm. I get that. I used to always have that, particularly when I was performing stand up and traveling around. I'd think, I hope it gets cancelled. I hope that nobody turns up, and I hope that just gets cancelled because I know I'm going to do it, and I know I'll probably enjoy it. I know I'll probably be all right, but I just hope it gets cancelled. And but for me, the anxieties that I struggle with now, it's not even necessarily anxieties of like my kids being unwell or anything like that. It's usually things like, what if I'm violently ill here on a train or in a meeting, and it's the idea of being like almost publicly shamed is what really gets me, to the extent where it will physically make me sick as well.
My mate, he has one over if anything goes wrong with his car.
Yeah. Because
now,
then that's...
Because he thinks, well, if something goes wrong with my car, I can't do anything about it. And if someone needs to take my car, I can't go to work. What am I supposed to do? Are they going to rip me off? Because I don't know if it needs a new whatever. And then how long is that going to take to sort out? So as soon as he sees like any problem with it, he has to like, if he books in his service, he'll do it when he's got a week off. So he'll book it in where he can leave it overnight and walk it where there's no pressure on it.
Yeah.
To try and relieve that.
So he's worried about what's out of his control.
Yeah.
So what he is doing in order to control that or to feel better about it is he's dealing with what he can control. Which is that's good, but it might be a little bit, I don't know if it's quite excessive, but he's doing what he can to control a situation that is beyond his control, really. So he'll always worry about those or be anxious about those things because he'll think that's beyond what I can physically or emotionally control. And that's kind of what we've got to be able to deal with, really.
My biggest coping mechanism, if everything goes horribly wrong, this will be quite a funny story to tell on the radio.
Yeah,
so like,
unless it results in you not being able to work on the radio anymore.
Oh, no, I'll start thinking about that. Leighton's story is this week's episode of Mental Health Monday. Leighton was absolutely honest, and actually we have many different many different guests on the program, 138 episodes I think we've done so far, and everybody sort of thinks differently, everybody acts differently, and everybody's story is a little bit different as well. He was really open about his experience in regard to self-harm, suicide attempts, and it was interesting to see where his journey had taken him to. One of the things that stood out as well was that idea of hitting rock bottom, an idea that sometimes when you hit rock bottom, you then find your way out of it, and then it's a good news stories. And he was saying when he was at rock bottom lasted a very, very long time, and maybe that was the first time I've heard it described that way, that people hit rock bottom and then they find a solution, the phoenix from the flames, the sort of the Hollywood ending. But actually, Lane was making the point, it wasn't like that. There was rock bottom, and he stayed rock bottom for a long time.
Yeah, and I think he was describing as well as highs might have just been like a 1% difference. So it's what you're comparing the low to. And I think, do you know what? I think it was a brutally honest interview and discussion. And I think he spoke really well actually as well, in articulating how he did feel, and particularly that was quite interesting because he described how when he was going through it, he would never be able to articulate that. But I do think he was quite hard on himself, but maybe that's just kind of the type of personality that he is as well. But one of the things I was definitely think that he was a bit hard on himself for was that idea that he couldn't articulate how he felt. But why would he? Because nobody had ever really, so many of us are going through something, never understanding it and never being able to describe it, because we don't have the words to describe, because we've never had to do that before. And I think he's looking back at the person that he was, and certainly with a sense of he didn't like the person that he was, but ultimately that person's now the person that he is now, and being able to make a difference for others. And it sounds like a huge change for him.
But I was going to say, because when he was describing his 14-year-old self,
yeah,
when you heard him, it was hard to imagine the angry, destructive, self-harming Lane from the adult, sort of the positive thinking. And sometimes you go, I can understand how that story sort of developed and how you developed personality-wise. But it seems like there's been a really marked change just in terms of his outlook, his ability to communicate, his ability to sort of share stories, the fact that now he's a sort of a motivational sort of speaker and very eloquent in the way that he spoke. Yeah,
and I think, describing the way that he did, being a 14, just sounded lost. He sounded like somebody who just had no idea, and I think he's been able to find that in that creative way, which he's clearly very talented at. That his book is going to be incredibly well written. You can tell that from the way that he's talking anyway. And, maybe that's what it was, is that he was scared to be put into a box because he didn't actually know who he was. He didn't know what would get him out of that. And ultimately it was himself and his creativity that's been able to get him to where he is now.
Also, bearing in mind that idea of the difficult teenage years.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe hiding 1,000,001 different things. I think we probably need to get a little bit wiser to that. Oh, it's just the hormones are raging in this one.
Yeah, exactly.
Or actually, maybe there's something else that's going on here.
Exactly, and it definitely was. But also, I think it was quite complemented by the episode the week before as well, because I know that I wasn't here when we were talking about with the comics and stuff.
Yeah.
And again, it's finding what is right for the people on an individual basis. It's got to be kind of people-led and solutions-focused rather than a one-size-fits-all approach to everybody, particularly in young people who have got different interests, and it's using what's right for them.
Well, it's quite interesting to think that actually Lane, as a 14-year-old, might actually have benefited from Comics Youth.
I do think,
just because it was that completely different environment.
Exactly. I thought the stuff from Comics Youth was absolutely brilliant. But yeah, especially because they were back to back. So once I kind of finished listening to one, the other one started, and I thought, do you know what you've done there is line up two people who I think would actually be good to be putting in touch now anyway, to say, here's an example of somebody who actually could have definitely benefited from that.
The Mental Health Monday show is available. There's a listen again service. You can get it if you're subscribed to podcasts. It's on our social media at Radio City Talk, or type in Mental Health Monday. You get all the information on there. The hashtag Mental Health Monday as well on Twitter. Previous editions of the show, including Comics Youth and Lane, still available to listen to. And in fact, all of them are available to listen to. They're all absolutely free. What's going on at Chasing the Stigma this week? Now you're back in work and fighting fit?
Yeah, well, we have. I haven't been on since, but we very, very lucky to secure £50,000 from Nominate, which is going to go towards the Hub of Hope developments, and us building on that. So we're very excited to start on that reset program that they're doing. So watch this space.
Good stuff. Thank you for your time today. Jake Mills from Chasing the Stigma. Don't forget, if you want to find mental health services close to you, Jake set up the Hub of Hope, and it's a database of local mental health organisations. hubofhope.co.uk. There's an app on Android and iOS as well. It'll use the location on your device to find mental health services close to you. Do check it out. It's called the Hub of Hope.
Mental Health Monday with Mick Coyle.
Radio City Talk.